Are you a fitness nut or a couch potato like me? Or maybe you've been thinking about going to the gym, but you have no idea how to start or where to go or what to do when you get there. And you're a little bit afraid that people might be judging you and making fun of you because you're clueless. Or maybe you know all there is to know and you want to be a coach, or you want to own your own gym, or you want to be a high end trainer. Regardless what it is, I have a very special guest today. So stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this. She's amazing. Hi, I'm Honey Gregory, and welcome to my channel, Perpetual Learning, where we continuously learn, because if you're not learning, you're just dying. So we don't want to do that. So we're going to keep on learning. And I am so grateful today that I have a very special guest. She's one of the most amazing women I think I've ever met. She's a mom. She's a business owner. She volunteers in the community. She's got this perfect physique from all the exercising she does. And she's an expert coach and owns her own gym. I just think she's fantastic. Not to mention the fact that what led her into this is like she's got some junior Olympic title and 2 Golden Globe state champions. My gosh, this girl is amazing. So I wanted to share her fantasticness with the world. So I want to welcome very special guest, Andrea Warner. Hey, Andrea.
Hi. Well, thank you. That was a very lovely introduction.
Well, I think I told you this before. I think you're just amazing. And I'm always jealous at your physique. I'm like, damn, that girl's got some good legs and some good biceps and stuff.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I work very hard on it.
Well, and I think it's nice too, because you're beautiful and you're still feminine, but you are so athletic and so amazing. So I was reading some of your bio on your website, and you were talking about volleyball and baseball and boxing, and I'm thinking, wow, these are historically men's sports. So give us some background about this.
Yeah, I feel like I've always, since I was, little, wanted to kind of break the mold of just like living in that only feminine, like female dominated sport. So I did, I worked construction starting at 17. I joined the military, which is obviously male driven. I did do boxing. I played softball, own my own business, which the low percentage of women own their own business.
Yep.
I just always wanted to break down the wall and be like, yeah, we can do all this stuff too.
Yeah. And you have. And that's one of the things that I just adore about you, because I'm like, gosh, she's such a go-getter and look what she's achieved. And I think that's an inspiration to a lot of women. And that's why I was telling you that I think you have a lot to give and offer and could inspire other young women or men too, of course, but just for a young girl to see another woman having done all these things and being able to accomplish your dreams. I said, I have to have her on my show. That's all there's to it. So,
Thank you.
So, all right. So give us a little history about how you got into sports, how you won these Golden Globes, and then we'll get into how you decided to, start your own fitness gym.
Okay. Growing up, I had kind of a rough childhood. My real dad was abusive towards my mom and sister. And I was sexually abused not by him, by another human.
I'm
and
sorry.
So that led me to some like depression, and then I was anorexic for a while. But while going through all of that, I was like, I don't want any like young girl to have to feel like this again. And so I started to really work on me and work on how I can empower girls, to teenage girls, to young women, to adult women, to kind of own their own self again and have that empowering feeling and get that confidence that we should have, but it's kind of broken down from childhood. So I'll go back again. I played all the sports. I got into boxing because I was struggling with that depression, and they told my mom, let her let some anger out. So I got into the boxing, and I was really good at it because I am naturally athletic. And that's where I saw how me just being like a 17 to 19-year-old girl doing boxing, other women would be like, there's a girl up there. And then kind of just really liking the feeling of people looking up to you for something that you're accomplishing and not like the way that you look. So from that moment, I started coaching boxing
Mm.
to older women, my mom and all of her friends. And then I was like, this is what I want to do. And I want to own a gym. Um, so I had a 10-year plan, and it happened in exactly 10 years, to own my own fitness facility that focused primarily on families and, moms and women in general, in that empowering model. And that's what I did. And that's what we're doing. And
Yeah.
I get testimonials all the time from lots and lots of my members who are like, I did not have this confidence until we walked into your gym. And like, that's what it's about. Like,
Yeah.
good, like you're hitting PRs in there. That's not a big deal. I want you to be able to, wear the crop top, even if like you don't look like the 20-year-olds anymore. Who cares? Like, just
Yeah.
be empowered, be confident, be that person.
Yeah. And that's an amazing story. And I appreciate you sharing, those intimate and difficult details, because so many people have been through tragic situations and then they don't know what to do with themselves. And they do feel like, why this happened to me and how do I keep going? And the empowering yourself, is really the key to getting
Yeah.
above and beyond whatever trauma that you've been through. And practically everybody's got some sort of trauma. But I think the more severe the trauma is, you either have the choice to curl up and die and stop being yourself, being less than what you were created to be, or you go the other extreme and show everybody that I can do it. I'm not going to let this, in my life or my world. I'm not going to just quit and give up because some idiot who didn't care enough to do the right things. And I love that you want to empower, yourself and women. And I think that's critical, for women and young girls to be safe and to be confident. And I just love that. And I know that you put a lot of that into what you're doing even today. But I think another key thing that you said there was you had a 10-year plan.
I did.
And, they always say that if you don't plan your life, gets planned for you.
Yeah.
And so I think that's one of the big secrets, you hear about all the time, that if you want something bad enough, and trauma is a good fuel to get
Yeah.
you to get up off your backside and actually go for what you want. The moment you say, I can do this. And I think that's amazing. So did you just write it down? How did you do your plan?
Yeah, I had like a manifesto to where I wrote, so instead of being like, I'm going to do this next week, I'm going to do this next week, I said, in 10 years, I will own a house that has a pool. I will own my own business. I will have 2 children that are healthy and happy. I will be in a healthy, happy relationship. I will have, what was my other one? A good relationship with money, because at the time, like, money in my brain was evil, but now I understand that like you can do a lot of things with it. Anyway,
Yeah.
I will be volunteering yearly with Habitat, which I do.
Yep.
I think that those were my major like 7 things, and I do all of those things, and all of them have happened. And it was just like, you just put the energy towards that manifesto, and it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you work for it, but also if you dream it and you just keep thinking about it and working on it, it
Yeah.
most likely will happen.
Did you
Manifest your destiny.
Yes. So that law of attraction and taking the steps necessary to getting the things that you want. Did you on a daily basis look at your notes and speak that out into the existence on a daily or regular basis?
Definitely a regular basis.
Yeah.
It was at least multi times a week. And
Yeah. Throughout the whole
yes,
entire process, like every once in a while, did you
the
pull
whole
them back
process.
out? Did you post them up
Yeah.
on Post-it notes, or how'd you go about it?
We did. I had a whole page that was written that was just on my mirror in the morning. And
Yep.
so then we
So
would
that's
read
how
it.
you started your morning, was you would go in
Yeah.
and brush your teeth and just tell yourself this over and over again.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a
And,
great tip.
then obviously working towards it, I wrote a business plan. I had a business coach. He's actually my stepdad and who owns lots of businesses, but he helped me write the business model, and, help Austin helped me do a lot of the like background stuff, because they both were business owners in the community. And I mean, I was the driving force, but they were helping me when I'd be like, I think I'm stuck on this one spot. So also being able to like be like, I don't have to do this all on my own. Let me reach out to someone who's successfully doing this. I think that's a big part of where people get stuck. It's because they're
Yeah.
like, I have to do this on my own. But like, think about interdependence, like
Mm.
letting the community kind of help you with what their strong suits are. And yeah, I definitely, it's not what you know, it's who you know and how you
Yeah.
utilize it and help them in return for sure.
And that's valuable because you hear all of the gurus say, get a mentor, get a
Yeah.
mentor, get a coach, get someone to emulate, to follow in their footsteps, to find out how they did it and just copy whatever they did.
Yeah.
So that brings us to you actually starting your own business.
Yeah.
So how'd you go about doing that? Other than
Um,
your plan. So after that, what
yeah,
did you do next?
right. So I moved to Bloomington and I tried to go to some of the gyms in town, and like, I'm definitely not talking negatively about any of them. I really like one of the other CrossFits very well. The owner and I have a very good relationship, but I did realize that it was mostly about the students, like Poland and IU students. And I was like,
Ah,
I need one that's like about families and
yeah,
like mom and dad and mom, or, anyone and their kids. And
yeah,
so I started researching like other gyms that specialize in like family friendlies instead of
mm,
just like drawing in clients and then losing them every year. I didn't want that turnover. I wanted it to be a physical community. And so I really emulated it a lot off of a gym in Franklin that isn't around anymore, actually.
mm,
But that wasn't because it went out of business. They had their own kids and wanted to stop. Doesn't matter.
right. Yeah, yeah.
So I reached out to them. I was like, what is your like best business practices of this? And so they told me that thing. I went with, I had a realtor. It was actually Kevin Powell, who was like looking at small spaces, because I feel like he understood that if I had a too big of space that I would have got overwhelmed and like we would have
Mm,
been under before
yeah,
we got started. And so
right.
having the right realtor was a big deal. And so him showing me this smaller space, like 2,000 square feet over by my house, and then being like, oh, I can do this. So I had my business model. I had the mentor of the gym that I wanted to emulate most of the things off of. I had a good realtor. And then I said, I'm going to build this out myself.
Mm,
And we did. And so we
wow,
saved money that way, thinking about how we could, because I worked construction all the time. So
right,
that was easy. But thinking about how we could save money and still like get the business going.
right,
We didn't do anything super like lavish at first. It was very much minimum with also keeping clients happy. Yeah. So again, team of people. There's a team of people,
which
and
is
I had the
probably
right people.
wise. Yeah, because you started
Yeah.
in what, 2017, and then we had the whole
Yes.
2020 go come along. And so
Pandemic was
it's,
hard.
yeah, and it's probably a good idea that luckily for you, you did start out rather small, but since then you've gone through a whole growth phase. So tell us
I
about
have.
that.
So it was actually in 2019.
Oh
So
my
right
goodness.
before the pandemic. Oof. That was I was lucky that we stayed on our feet, I guess. It wasn't. We worked really hard, my coaches
Yeah.
and I. But in 2019, we decided we were going to expand. We had reached capacity at the 2,000 square feet. So I also volunteer some and have good friends on the Girls Inc. And so that we're like, we're selling our gym. And we were like, that is perfect. And
Mm,
so that also, it was who I knew. Like, I want to know that building was coming up for sale if like I didn't already do the things with them.
yeah.
So I expanded into 9,000 square feet. So
Wow.
what's that? 5 times, it's 5 times the amount almost.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was literally during COVID that I wrote them a check, and I was like, oh man, what if we all go under?
Oh my
We don't know
gosh.
what's going to happen. The world might end, but it
Scary.
didn't.
But you
Yeah,
do
it
it
was
scared. You
scary.
do it afraid. I mean, I think that's
We
key.
did.
Yeah. You do it afraid.
We gave all our equipment away to the client, not like let them borrow all equipment at home. We did Zoom classes every day, the coaches and I. We didn't lose any clients.
That's
It
amazing.
stayed maintained. Yep. We continued like we would do. We'd go to their houses once a week and like sit outside. You had to have that like outside inside weirdness.
Nice.
We didn't know what we were doing, but we made sure that we kept everyone close. We did trivia every week, like with the gym, like on Zoom. We just made sure that everyone stayed involved. And then once we moved to that building, we were like, oh, like we definitely need to utilize this space for more than just CrossFit,
Mm,
or it's not called CrossFit anymore, but
right.
HIIT
That's why you changed the
style
name,
working
right?
out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was like, good. I always wanted my gym to be multifaceted and really be able to be inclusive to everyone. So now we have like silks, we have Asabella in there. So that like
Wow.
really gets like the artistic part of, working out. We have Rock Steady Boxing, which is through IU, and it's a program that's strictly for Parkinson's patients.
Oh,
So
wow.
like we have like the medical part of it. We have a longevity class that has actually 80 adults that are over the age of 60, and it's ran by a physical therapist. So he knows what he's doing. He's a doctor. And
Mm.
then we have my regular classes, kids classes. So it just it embodies everything that is needed in the community, from artistic style working out to people who need extra help because they've had some sort of uh you know physical, something they have to get over
Disability.
physically.
Yeah,
Right.
something that's holding them back in some way.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, we obviously have a full court. Oh, like you haven't been there yet. We have a full court basketball court. So on the
Yeah.
weekends, our friends and I just get around and play, and
Yeah.
it's just pretty dope.
Yeah. I've been wanting
Pretty
to come
fun.
see it because I hear it's so
Yeah,
amazing.
it is pretty
Excuse
amazing.
me. But and that was something else that really impressed me is your attitude about being all inclusive. And
Yes.
and I noticed when I went back and was looking at some of your things on Instagram and Facebook, and that information will be down below in the description, is how you embrace everybody in the community, regardless of their age, background, marital status, or whatever. Like you really, um, and I think you had a sign that says, we welcome everybody or something to that effect. And we are in a very diverse area here where we have a lot of people from all over the world who've settled here and all sorts of backgrounds and identities and things like that. And I think it's beautiful, what you're doing there, which is a reflection on you, because I think it's like a piece of you manifesting into something else. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take all that got bottled up in here and like put in a gym, and
Yes.
it's become you, and it's really beautiful. So if anyone was afraid to go in the gym, I know your particular gym is, very open and inclusive, but what if someone didn't live in this kind of area? What would they do? How could they kind of get around that to keep them off of the couch like me? I need to get back in the gym and back into the gym, or their first time into the gym doing something. What can you advise them, like how to get them motivated to go?
I think one of the things that we hear a lot is that I'm not fit enough to go to the gym, which
Ah,
a lot of people say that.
yeah,
But
wow.
motivation doesn't come like naturally. Like you have to motivate, and then it'll become a routine. But just knowing that nobody actually cares what you're doing. So like
Mm,
they're like, well, we don't want anyone to look at us, or like, say that, compare themselves to us. And we're all so self-centered and self-focused that
yeah,
like we don't even realize that like what you're doing or what you're, besides like when you do a PR, and then we'll all cheer for you. But if you're over there not knowing what you're doing, we're not judging you. We're
yeah.
absolutely like, well, am I doing, like, it immediately comes back to self-centeredness, and that's just who we are. That's what human beings think about themselves normally before they think about anything else. So just knowing that when you're like in a safe space, that no one actually cares what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like the coaches care, but like the other humans in the classes will not judge you in any way. Like we do not, that's just not how it runs. But we
Which is
have
good.
lots of beginner courses. We have my coach Megan is one of the best thing that's ever happened to me. But she teaches a Spark. It's called Spark class, and it's without barbells because I know barbells are very intimidating.
Mm.
She does it with just like dumbbells and kettlebells, and she's very encouraging. And yeah, that's where I would say to start. And she does it 5 days a week.
So
And
start out at a gym going in with the mindset that nobody's looking at me. And if
nobody's
they
looking
are,
at
who
you.
cares?
Really not. Yeah.
I'm here to learn. I'm here to better myself,
Yes.
do what I need to do,
Yes.
and I will grow into it. I will get
Correct.
better at it in time
Yeah.
because, I know when I'm at the gym, I'm like, what the heck should I be doing here? I'm looking around like,
Yeah.
I'm not
That's a
looking
good
at
thing with
people
like
like,
class-led classes.
yeah, I'm not looking at someone
Right.
going, they look silly today. I'm thinking,
Right.
oh,
No.
dang, they're lifting that. Look at them. My gosh,
Yeah.
they're strong,
Exactly. Yeah.
or, something to that nature. But a lot of people are more insecure. I know my daughter, when I was trying to get her to go to gym with me and start going, she's like, I don't want to go in there. That's scary. And I'm like, it's not
Yeah.
scary.
Right. No one does care. Yes.
So if someone is already great at it and maybe they've been coaching or training and now they're like, well, I think I might be ready for my own place. Do you have any like beginner tips other than, we talked about the business plan and getting some coaching, but any other thing that you wanted to, add to that?
I would definitely say that once it is not, if you do not have like a very clear vision and a very clear, what is the word I want? Not community, but like this, why you're a why. Your
Your
why. If you
why,
don't have
your
a very
why.
clear vision and a very clear why, and it's just because you really like that hobby, you're not
Yeah.
gonna like that hobby anymore. It
Yeah.
needs to be something more than that because I'm no longer just go to the gym and work out. Like
Yeah.
that has, I don't get to do that anymore, which is fine. But like it is building the whole rest of it that I'm so passionate about that, in that hour where I would like to work out, I typically don't really get to.
Right.
But so it can't just be a hobby where you're like, I think I want to make money off of this. It needs to
Mm,
be, there's a need in this community. I'm going to fulfill it and I'm going to do whatever it takes to continue to grow that.
yeah.
Like those are very different.
Yes.
Like do your hobby for fun. Like if
Yeah.
you are, I'm so good at, or I'm so good at working out, I'm going to keep using the word CrossFit, even though we're not a CrossFit anymore. Your next step should be become a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, if you're like, ooh, I really see that they're missing like a CrossFit or whatever gym that is doing this, then kind of work through logistics of it and also know that it's, you're not going to make a lot of money doing that. It definitely has to be all about the passion and all about the community. And
Yes.
and I'm happy with both of those things. I don't feel like I need to be a
That's
millionaire
okay. And I
to,
think that's what kept you going during COVID is you had already established to a certain degree a community and a connection with different organizations and being so human and accepting to the people you were already serving that people are like, there's no place else I want to go. And, everything's shut down anyway. So
yeah,
I'm going to stick with something and give myself some wins. And, I really like the fact that, you brought up the why because um, people who have been through something usually have a much stronger why than someone who's had a more cushy kind of comfortable life because they're comfortable. So they don't really have to explore something really big because they're happy and they're comfortable. But the people who have gone without, like I've been hungry, I've been homeless, you know, I've had a lot of whys that got me through college, and my number
yeah,
one why was, I told my grandma I was going to do it. And by golly, I wasn't going to let her down, even though she'd passed, but everybody has to have that something. Otherwise, no matter what it is they decide to do, they're not going to be successful at it because they will. They'll just go, don't feel like doing that today. It's not really
yeah,
important. Um, and you have to dream big. Your dream has to be really, really, really bigger and scary. And I
yeah,
think a lot of people worry more like, well, is it too big? And how's it going to happen? And I don't know. And then next thing you know, they're doing nothing.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta have the follow through for sure.
Yeah. Well, my
Yeah.
gosh, girl, this is just so amazing. I just love every little bit of it.
My
Um,
current active why is definitely my daughter. I have a 12-year-old daughter, and she now comes to the gym and works out and has gained more confidence in the way that she sees the world and talks to adult humans and is able to handle like conflict at school
yeah.
is 100 times better than the way that I was. And I think it's honestly just because she's surrounded by this community of amazingly empowered humans who are accepting and inclusive. And so she gets this. I mean, my son is awesome too, but he, white privileged boy, so he doesn't have as much of stacked against him where she has, she has the things. So,
Well, even
but
in
it's
this day and age,
so
women
hard for her.
still have to
Yeah, she's got it.
fight. You still have to
Yeah,
fight for your position. You have to fight for your rights. You still have to, you know, keep that in your mind because I think back to my grandma when she worked for Convair and she was building she really was a riveter for, Convair and made planes. And, her happened to give up her job when the men came back from the war
yeah,
and her telling me when I was a girl, as little as I can remember, be independent, get your own job. Don't always count on a man. be yourself, be true to yourself, don't give up, all the wonderful things that she instilled in me. And if you don't have those kind of parents, then you got to get it somewhere. And I think exercise is so vital to your mental and physical health and how well you're going to succeed in life in general. And, I'm kind of lazy right now, but I need to get back in the gym,
Oh,
girl. I need to come see you. I do. I'm just getting bad. And I was seeing that you have these Zumba classes on Saturday. I was just telling my
we
daughter,
do.
I said, dang, if you didn't have to go to your thing today, we'd go to Zumba. Because you're dancing, you're dancing and
It's
you're
so
having
fun.
fun and
Yeah,
you're
my
burning
Megan runs
calories.
that. Yeah.
Who does? Oh, Megan does.
Megan, yeah. She's
Nice.
she's a rock star. She's again, I am and super grateful and blessed that I got to have her on my team.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm glad
Yeah.
it's growing for you, and I'm glad your life is blessed after, with a difficult start. And I like the way that you didn't let those things stop you from being you and growing
Right.
and believing in yourself and being able to do this, because I really do think you're a gift to other women, and that's why I wanted you to come on. So why don't you tell people where they can find you? I'm going to put it in the description too, but go ahead and tell people like how they can find your website. What's your website and your Instagram and Facebook pages and everything?
I don't know my Instagram, but the gym's name is Full House Fitness. We are located on 417 North Elm Street. That's like behind Banneker or Fairview Elementary, or right by Upland, which is what most people know. Instagram is full_house_fitness. Megan's in charge of that though, so
that's okay.
she'll reach out.
Got to learn to delegate when you own a business, right?
Well, like delegate, and then our website is just Full House.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll put in the description.
Yeah,
not a problem. It's all going to be good.
And you can email me at info@fullhousefitness.com, and I get back to you right away. And I normally just give you my personal number, and then that's easier.
All right. But if someone's in another location, what kind of gym would you suggest they look for?
Anytime I drop into gyms, because anywhere I go, I went to Vegas last week. I made sure on their website in the bottom or somewhere that it was, they spoke somewhere about inclusivity. And because I hate to say words like this out loud, but I'm going to, I think, if it doesn't have something about inclusivity, it's normally you walk in there and it's very type A man, and you feel very sexualized. And that's my least favorite way to feel. So when that is on there, it's normally run by, either like a man who's more progressive, or like a woman, or like someone who's in the LGBTQ community, and they mostly are very accepting, and you don't feel sexualized, because that's the worst part of dropping in anywhere or working out anywhere, because you are wearing very small clothes, is I just want to work out, like I want to do this, and I don't want you to hit on me, like please don't. And so that is a policy that we have that will never happen at our gym, for sure.
Makes a girl want to put a sign on their back of their bottom says, stop looking at my beep,
Yes. Yeah. I dropped into a Globo gym when I went out of town not that long ago, and I had two men just literally follow me from like equipment to equipment. And I had my headphones on, and like at one point I like took it off to be like, do you need something? And they like immediately like led into like, where are you staying? You from out of town? I'm like, no, bro, like I'm working out. What are we doing?
Oh gosh.
Like,
well, you're beautiful. I mean, you can't fault them for being a real man with real urges and eyes and seeing beauty. I mean, you can't fault them completely. I mean, they are dudes, You got to be flattered
just
a little
and move on. Like give it like a glance and move on. If I give you
flattered.
like very deep eye contact, maybe then approach me. But other than that, keep your distance.
That's funny, because I'm teaching my daughter right now. She's like, how do I know if a guy, how do I know if a guy likes me? I said, if he's looking at you, he likes you.
Pretty much. That is pretty much
it. If he's looking your direction, all you got to do is smile. Be careful. All you have to do is smile. They'll be right there.
It's interesting. Yeah. So, we definitely have had a lot of consent talks in this house.
Yes. Oh, goodness. I know, right? I've been there too. I was inappropriately things done to me when I was young too. So I completely understand. I can't tell my daughter enough, how to not do things or how to do things to keep yourself safe.
in our time, there was not phones, and I mean, like that is
There's no
now.
cell
Like
phone.
if something happens
Yeah.
now, like it's gonna be recorded. Like
Yeah.
everything you do, just
Yeah.
pretend someone's recording you all the time.
Yep.
Just
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's wild. It's a wild time that our kids live in for sure.
It's good and bad, but I think they've
Yeah,
been saying that since day one, probably, right?
yeah, true.
So any
Yeah.
inspirational words you want to share?
I feel like my favorite saying of all is "This too shall pass."
Yeah.
So like anytime you're going through the thick of it, it'll go through, you know,
Yeah.
you'll get through it, and someone else is also going through a very similar situation as you. So
Mm-hmm.
be kind and
Yeah.
be empathetic, because most of the time that grumpy human that was talking to you was probably having a real shitty day and it wasn't about you.
Yeah.
Most humans are stuck in themselves. So be kind.
I
Be kind
agree.
and know that it'll pass.
Absolutely. And I agree completely.
Yeah.
And amazing. You're amazing, girl. You're just so amazing. I love it. Well,
Thank you.
I appreciate you so much taking your time out. I know you've got a crazy schedule and kids and the whole 9 yards on a Sunday afternoon. So I appreciate you so much. You're beautiful. You're wonderful inside and out. And I feel so grateful to have you
Very
here.
much. Thank you for having me. It was
Well,
pretty cool. I liked it.
cool. All
Thank you.
right. Awesome. Well, maybe we'll do some. If you think of something else you want to talk about and teach, you let me know.
I will.
All
Yeah, thank
right.
you.
Okay. All
Okay, you have a
right.
good Sunday.
Thanks. You too. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye bye.